going on, everybody? Morning. Everybody hear me okay? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wednesday morning, November 27th. Good morning, all. Morning, Joyce. Rose, good morning. Moon Pie, good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. How's everybody doing on a Wednesday morning? Yes, we're out of YouTube jail. We're back. We're back on YouTube today. First day, first morning back out of that ridiculous YouTube jail. Tom on YouTube, good to see you as well. Thanks for being here. Hello, hello. Anyone else stream starting and stopping? We've had a lot of issues technically with the stream. Usually not in the mornings here from my home studio, but from the real studio, we've had problems the last couple nights. Why were we in Facebook jail? Believe it or not, it was for, I think, a podcast. So not even the video portion of the show, just the audio portion of the show. Somebody uploaded the podcasts to YouTube. I think it was actually by mistake because obviously our podcast is on Apple and all the podcasting platforms, which if you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe to the audio version of the show, the podcast. Just in case you ever miss it or you're in the car and you can't get the video and you want to listen to the show, you can always listen to it on Apple or any of the other podcasting platforms. But for some reason, I think a mistake was made in some of the audio versions, and YouTube flagged something that they claimed was medical misinformation, which in itself is a joke. And what made it worse was that when I went and listened to the part that they tagged as medical misinformation, it was like 1 minute and 6 seconds into the show, which obviously if you've watched the show even once, you know that at 1:06, I've barely said 2 words yet between the intro and the music. So it wasn't even right. The problem with these platforms is when they flag something, it's all done by AI. It's all done by computer who thinks it hears or however they do it, and they won't have a human being actually go back and check it. So I wrote them saying, hello, this is not true. When 1:06 seconds, I'm saying, welcome to the show. I'm not saying whatever you think I'm saying. And then they sent me something back, said, oh no, we double checked it. It's correct. I said, okay, it's correct. But this is the fight you fight to be able to build your channels and get your word out there. This is the fight you fight. So I could just move it all to X and leave it there, or, X and Rumble and Getter. Could do that. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Facebook. Facebook just does not allow the show to get out. We have 117,000 followers on Facebook, and the numbers on Facebook are just pathetic. I mean, we should have thousands of people from Facebook be getting the announcement that we're live and at least coming on, even if they don't stay. Facebook has just absolutely buried the show. It just does not allow it to get out there. So what else is going on, everybody? I don't have a ton of stuff for you, obviously, the day before Thanksgiving. It's not much going on. Although I did see something that I kind of chuckled at because we talked about it. And I said it would be interesting to see if the Fed ever decides that 2% is not going to be the target. Well, Heidi ho, look at here. This morning on CNBC, Fed's preferred inflation gauge rises to 2.3% annually. And I just wonder again at some point if the Fed is going to decide that, you know what, we really want 2% inflation, but we'll be willing to say mission accomplished at, let's say, 2.3 or 2.2, or if we can't get it all the way to 2. Markets, you can see, are, for the most part, are the markets closed today? Or maybe they trade a half a day. Dow Jones up 8.94. Although this doesn't even look like it's, I don't even know if maybe are the markets even open today? I think they're open half day today. Yeah, stocks tread water in light trading ahead of Thanksgiving holiday. Yeah. Yeah, I think the market closes at noon today or something like that. So maybe Trump can change the streaming crap. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've had a lot of changes for the better. Obviously, X being the main one. But I don't know. We'll see. We're going to keep everything for now, and it is what it is. We'll keep all the platforms, try to build them all up. If you build them up big enough, then you have, 4 or 5 big audiences that can go. If this one's down, go to the other one. Then that's why I tell you to subscribe to all the channels, whether it's X, Rumble, whatever it is. This is an amazing segment. If you haven't seen Joe Rogan with Mark Andreessen yet, it's worth the watch. This is a pretty wild. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
So look, this goes back to what we were talking about before. Like it is time to carve this government back in size and scope. It's time to take the overall. You can talk about distribution of taxes, but it's time to take the overall tax load down. It's time to take the spending down. It's time to get the government out of the position of deciding who gets money. It's time to unleash economic growth.
Elon explained that there's more agencies than there have been years of the United States.
Correct. Yeah, 450 federal agencies and 2 new ones a year. And then my favorite twist is we have this thing called independent federal agencies. So like, for example, we have this thing called the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, CFPB, which was it's sort of Elizabeth Warren's personal agency that she gets to control. And it's an independent agency that just gets to run and do whatever it wants, right? And if you read the Constitution, like there is no such thing as an independent agency, and yet there it is.
What does her agency do?
Whatever she wants.
What does it do, though?
Basically, it terrorize financial institutions, prevent fintech, prevent new competition, new startups that want to compete with the big banks.
Really?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
How so?
Just by terrorizing anybody who tries to do anything new in financial services.
Can you give me an example?
Well, I could say, debanking. This is where a lot of the debanking comes from, is these agencies. So debanking is when you as either a person or your company are literally kicked out of the banking system.
Like they did to Kanye.
Exactly, like they did to Kanye. My partner Ben's father has been debanked.
Really?
We had an employee who
for what?
For having the wrong politics, for saying unacceptable things. Under current banking regulations, here's a great thing. Under current banking regulations, after all the reforms of the last 20 years, there's now a category called a politically exposed person, PEP. And if you are a PEP, you are required by financial regulators to kick them off of to kick them out of your bank.
What?
You're not allowed to have
What if you're politically on the left?
Well, that's fine.
No.
because they're not politically exposed.
So no one on the left gets debanked?
I have not heard of a single instance of anybody on the left getting debanked.
Can you tell me what the person that you know did, what they said that got them debanked?
Oh, well, I mean, David Horowitz is a right wing. He's pro-Trump. I mean, he said all kinds of things. He's been very anti-Islamic terrorism. He's been very worried about migration, all these things.
And they debanked him for that.
Yeah, they debanked you. So you get kicked out of your bank account. You get kicked out of you can't do credit card transactions. But, by the way, you can't
How is that legal?
Well, exactly. So this is the thing. And then you go in this thing of like, well, this is where the government and the companies get intertwined. Back to your fascism point, which is there's a constitutional amendment that says the government can't restrict your speech, but there's no constitutional amendment that says the government can't debank you, right? And so if they can't do the one thing, then they do the other thing, and then they don't have to debank you. They just have to put pressure on the private company banks to do it. And then the private company banks do it because they're expected to. But the government gets to say, we didn't do it. It was the private company that did it. And of course, JP Morgan can decide who they want to have as customers, of course, right? Because they're a private company. And so it's this sleight of hand that happens. So it's basically, it's a privatized sanctions regime that lets bureaucrats do to American citizens the same thing that we do to Iran.
Whoa.
Just kick you out of the financial system. And so this has been happening to all the crypto entrepreneurs in the last 4 years. This has been happening to a lot of the fintech entrepreneurs, anybody trying to start any kind of new banking service, because they're trying.
I mean, how crazy! I mean, it's just so crazy. And I've heard of this. I've heard of people getting debanked. I'm sure we all have. I mean, just crazy stuff. It's a good episode. With Joe Rogan and Mark Andreessen, if you haven't seen it. A couple other things. This lunatic, Alexander Vindman, it's shocking that this guy was a U.S. Army lieutenant colonel, goes on MSNBC and basically says that Elon Musk, since I don't know if they've moved off from Tulsi Gabbard now, or maybe they have, maybe the next thing we'll hear is the two of them have gone over there together.
Clearly, Putin has a type. He likes narcissists and egomaniacs that he knows as a case officer he could easily pander to and manipulate to do his dirty work. We are under attack. Russia has been using different levers, whether that's corruption networks. In this case, it's influencers like Donald Trump, like Elon Musk, to really kind of sow discord. And it's particularly troubling with Elon Musk in this case because Elon Musk has access to state secrets. He has top secret security clearance. It's possible that some of that is seeping through. Putin has been very effective in playing both Trump and Elon, and he's been using the richest man in the world to do his bidding. In some cases, that's encouraging him probably to support Donald Trump. That's not speculation. We see how far in Elon has gone. And then using Twitter as a disinformation platform. So this is not some sort of far off, distant threat. This is going to impact our elections. It's a national security threat.
You talked about Putin's type, including Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Say more, because it also includes Tucker Carlson, who has a bizarre fetish with daddy spanking a little girl, something he said in public from a podium this week. And J.D. Vance, who has a bizarre belief and worldview that women should stay in violent marriages. Talk about why these men just happen, maybe coincidentally, to also.
Welcome to MSNBC. This is. You wonder why Comcast is thinking, anybody? Do I hear 500 million? Do I hear 400 million? Anybody? Quickly, please.
Parrot Putin's talking points when it comes to the war in Ukraine.
Well, it's not really coincidental. I mean, we're talking about a very practiced KGB case officer. He served through the rank of lieutenant colonel as a case officer. And in that capacity, he was trained to suss out the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses, the ways to engage his target, his agents. And he's using Trump and Elon as his agents. And in this case, he's just using their own egos, their own vanities. The fact that, by engaging with Putin, they're feeding their egos to manipulate them and message them. These guys are not particularly skilled. They're not practitioners in national security and statecraft. So his warnings that somehow this is going to trigger a nuclear war are the same things that you hear both Trump and Elon and Tucker Carlson parrot. So he's just effectively manipulating them and using them as useful idiots.
David Jolly, to the political layer.
And they're just totally unaware. Trump, Musk, and Carlson just completely unaware that the Russian president is using them and doing all this stuff and manipulating them. And they just have, and now I'm Alexander Vindman and I know this and I've just got it all. Let me go tell Nicole Wallace, two geniuses.
Of this, their strength.
This clip is, as I said when I think I shared this, has anyone ever seen such desperation from people as what we're seeing in the media right now, whether it's over the fact that they're really not the media anymore, or clips like this, thinking like this, discussions like this. It's so insanity. These people, they sit there with a straight face and talk about this, and they think this connects with regular folks. Even the lunatics in their party, they think they're sitting there going, oh, yeah, I knew it. I knew it was always true. I mean, what side, how many people are out there doing that? Oh, I knew it was true. I knew it, that Elon Musk. That's why he's down there at Mar-a-Lago every day. I mean, these people seriously need a checkup from the neck up.
Strength, which you see in General John Kelly's courage of stuff.
And they always just parrot the same names. It's the same thing. They're so desperate to keep this old narrative, dying narrative, pathetic narrative going of all the people who used to be around Trump, and Kelly and this guy. And oh my God, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And this was before the voters on November 5th. Hello? Hello? Do any of you live on this planet?
Stepping out of a nonpartisan role to sound the alarm for the American military, saying that what Trump wants to do to them by pursuing the enemy with.
Oh, yes, Nicole Wallace. I'm such a genius with an IQ of 6. Let's ask the U.S. military what they think. We saw the video of when the announcement was made that who the winner was on election night. What the hell are you talking about? Again, who are you speaking to? Who are you talking to that who you think believes what you're saying? We all have eyes and ears. Go ask the military. We don't need to listen to your dumbass. Joanne, it's a comedy show. It's worse than a comedy show. 3 morons trying to act serious, talking about moronic stuff.
In with the military is a dangerous fascist thing to do.
Oh, yes.
And then there's artificial faux strength, which is what you see.
What's with her delivery, too, by the way? She almost sounds like she's on the verge of crying. What the hell is that?
In men like Musk and Trump and Vance and Tucker Carlson. How did we get to the Republican Party being taken over by the fabricated strength of those men?
I can't. I just cannot. Let's see. What's the possible answer to that ball of a question?
It's such a great comment, Nicole. I mean, one of the
yeah. Such a great comment, Nicole. I'm thinking, what in the blue hell do I say to this moron?
the great ironies of Trumpism is for all the bluster and bravado and mass.
Hey, how's it going down there in Florida there, David? Not so jolly. I love they put the R in front of him in Florida. Oh, yeah, former representative. He's a Republican, you know. Yes. No longer affiliated with the GOP. That's a great lower third. There you go. R Florida. Yeah, yep. Yeah, how the Democrats doing down there? Oh, yeah, you're really helping them out. They're doing great. You're doing a great job. No longer affiliated with the GOP. Yeah, well, then that means you're no longer affiliated with Florida, loser. Because you've been wiped out.
Masculinity. On the world stage, Donald Trump's foreign policy is actually one that projects American weakness.
Oh, yes, of course. For all of you who didn't live through 2016 and 20, let me just tell you the opposite world that we're all living in. These people are literally insane. Insane. They're insane. And I swear they just must go on every night and think, okay, we'll talk as if everybody else has been on a different planet and just got dropped here this morning. And they'll think that what we're saying, it's so crazy. Crazy. What's up, Clint Leggett? Absolutely nuts, these people are. Another moment from the Andreessen interview that I loved. This just shows you, when you talk about what an absolute horrible candidate she was, when you talk about how horrible the people around her were, You see them now going out and doing some of these left-leaning podcasts. Their strategy, their thinking, the Carville clip we played last night, which I totally agree with everything he said. He's right on the money. And he says it, by the way, exactly how I would say it. That's exactly what needs to be said to some 22-year-old indoctrinated punk who comes in and thinks he's going to tell them what to do or where to spend their money or time. But here's just another little insight to how completely out of touch. And again, who they're talking to and who they were thinking about, I have no idea. But talk about not being able to see the future. Here's another moment.
Media.
The AI thing was very alarming. We had meetings this spring that were the most alarming meetings I've ever been in, where they were taking us through their plans, and it was
Like what kind of? Can you talk about it?
basically just full government control, like this sort of thing. There will be a small number of large companies that will be completely regulated and controlled by the government. They told us. They just said don't even start startups. Like don't even bother. Like there's just no way. There's no way that they can succeed. There's no way that we're going to permit that to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, they said this is already over. It's going to be 2 or 3 companies, and we're gonna control them, and that's that. Like this is already finished.
Oh my God. No. Now, when you leave a meeting like that, what do you do?
You go endorse Donald Trump.
You go endorse Donald Trump. They met with Harris and Biden or somebody on their side. Of course, Andreessen is, I mean, everybody wants not only their money, but their endorsement. When Andreessen shows up at your door, you take the meeting. He says they went to the meeting. They told him, don't even start thinking about building any AI companies. That's what he said in there. If you missed what he said, AI quickly. He said, don't even bother building them. They're never going to succeed. And he said, yeah, okay. I mean, it would be like saying, yeah, no, don't worry about that Bitcoin, boy. That's going to be, we're going to take care of that. No clue who the voting, just no clue. No clue what's going on. He said, what do you do when you leave a meeting like that? You go endorse Donald Trump. Exactly. You go endorse Donald Trump. Just like we talked about. We talked about crypto. We talked about back in April. I think my tweet is still up. President needs to take an aggressive stance supporting Bitcoin and crypto. And that's exactly what he did about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. And look at what happened as he goes to the Bitcoin conference. That was a huge voting block. They're so active in Washington. That whole community. Imagine going into a meeting in 2024. And at that point, I'm sure Elon had already jumped 2 feet into the fray. I don't know what month this was that they had these meetings. Imagine sitting with the current administration in charge and them saying, yeah, there's just a couple, the big I mean, listen to this again. The big companies, we're going to just try to government control and don't even think about any startups in AI. Because the ones that are already going to be big, we're going to control them and don't even start thinking about anything else because we're never going to let them succeed.
Media.
The AI thing was very alarming. We had meetings this spring that were the most alarming meetings I've ever been in, where they were taking us through their plans, and it was
Like what kind of? Can you talk about it?
basically just full government control, like this sort of thing. There will be a small number of large companies that will be completely regulated and controlled by the government. They told us. They just said don't even start startups. Like don't even bother. Like there's just no way. There's no way that they can succeed. There's no way that we're going to permit that to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, they said this is already over. It's going to be 2 or 3 companies, and we're gonna control them, and that's that. Like this is already finished.
Oh my God. No. Now, when you leave a meeting like that, what do you do?
You go endorse Donald Trump.
Media.
The AI thing was very
That is
alarming.
so crazy. That clip is crazy to me. In this, I mean, it just shows how absolutely out of touch. Oh my God, I can't even imagine being that out of touch in this year. Happy birthday to Steve Bannon, 71. Yeah, there you go. Happy birthday, Stephen K. Bannon, 71 years old. Oh, Steve looks good for 71, boy. He looks good. That's a good picture of him and Raheem. Good picture. Me talking to my turkey when I realize it's too frozen for the time I have left and it needs a pep talk.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Okay, can we just talk about this just for 1 second? Just a quick second. I gotta see the comments. What? How? 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 I mean, you know, I come up here in the mornings into the studio, and I don't really worry too much about how I look. But I mean, I'll throw on something comfortable, make sure my hair's done. I don't really do anything. I don't put makeup on. I don't do anything. Because I don't need to. I just come in here and talk to you, and whatever. It is what it is. When did we stop worrying about our leaders? This is I don't care. I mean, this is the sitting vice president of the United States. And literally just spent 3 weeks in Hawaii, as I understand it, after she got bombed in the election, probably in more ways than one. Goes to Hawaii for 3 weeks. Now this is supposedly back, I guess, in San Francisco. And this is the first video. This is the first thing they released. This is how she looks. I mean, with all due respect, who the hell thought this was this again, it's the same people who ran the campaign still around? I mean, I know the jokes, but literally the jokes are almost real. She looks and sounds drunk. I mean,
You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire.
why would you ever let her talk to a camera without a teleprompter? It's clear that it seems to me that doesn't have a teleprompter here. She's just trying to give this message to whoever the hell she's talking to. Why? Why would you ever allow that to happen?
So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, that's me talking to my turkey when I realize it's too frozen for the time I have left and it needs a pep talk. I mean, that is crazy. Statement from the Trump Vance transition team. Whoa, what? Last night and this morning, several President Trump's cabinet nominees and administration appointees were targeted in a violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. These attacks ranged from bomb threats to swatting. In response, law enforcement and other authorities acted quickly to ensure the safety of those who were targeted. President Trump and the entire transition team are grateful for their swift action. President Trump and the transition are focused on doing the work of uniting our nation by ensuring a safe and prosperous future. With President Trump as our example, dangerous acts of intimidation and violence will not deter us. Caroline Leavitt, Trump Vance transition spokesperson. When did she put this out? 2 minutes ago. Well, obviously I didn't hear about this. I don't think this was ever made public until just now. It's a good question. I don't know. We've speculated a lot about this, why this one's taken so long. Are they just holding it close to the vest? Are they going to wait till after the inauguration? Are they going to announce? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Maybe somebody smarter than me has one, but I don't have one.
I have a question about Joe Rogan, and you've sort of touched on elements of this in the US. He's obviously the world's most popular podcast host. He has 3 billion listeners. He's sort of managed to successfully capture that bro market in America. And his influence is such that in the wake of the US election, the Democrats have said that one of Kamala Harris's mistakes was that she didn't appear on his program. So I'm just wondering if you had any observations about what's behind the Joe Rogan effect, how you believe he's managed to so successfully capture this huge market. And then for us here in Australia, you know, how would or should the ABC be going about capturing that kind of audience?
Look, I'm not sure that I'm the right person to respond to that question. I am not a consumer or enthusiast about Mr. Rogan and his work.
Shocking.
Well, I'm shocked by that. You really look the part. These people, how's he gotten such a big audience, I wonder? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he's like a normal guy who most Americans kind of like respond to and kind of think like, yeah, I could talk to that guy. He asks legitimate questions of things he's interested in. He talks to all people from all aspects of life about things that are interesting. He's been extremely popular on TV shows even before the UFC. The hell are they talking about? These people are so stupid. How is it that he has such a big audience? What do you think, Gramps? You want to comment on it?
I am not one of the 3 billion, and I'm unlikely to be 3 billion and one
No, I'm usually underwater basket weaving at night, so I can't listen to Mr. Rogan.
Anytime soon. I think people like Mr. Rogan prey on people's vulnerabilities. They prey on fear. They prey...
Okay, well, let's just... If you've listened to Joe Rogan for more than about 30 seconds, preying on people's vulnerabilities, preying on fear, preying on anxiety, what in the hell is this guy talking about? I love people who comment on things they've never seen. They have no idea what they're talking about. This is at the National Press Club of Australia. Clearly, the National Press Club of Australia is about as good as the National Press Club here, with the same IQ of people who attend, which is less than 10. It's just... The guy starts by saying, I'm not one of the 3. I've never listened, and then has he can tell you exactly what the problem is with the show. Yeah, I've never listened. Here's what he does, though. Oh, really? I thought you just said you never listened. Moron.
On anxiety.
Oh, yes.
They prey on all of the elements that contribute to uncertainty in society.
Oh, yes.
And they entrepreneur fantasy outcomes and conspiracy outcomes as being a normal part of social narrative. I personally find it deeply repulsive.
Oh, yes, deeply repulsive. Deeply repulsive, I find it, don't you know? That's what he does. Now, I've never listened before, but I could tell you exactly what Mr. Rogan does. The guy who does my hair told me. Yes. These people are... Crazy people amongst us. Spent a lot of time thinking about how to build rules and habits that allow us to disagree deeply while being able to live together. Oh God, this is like the art. This is like I've thought a lot about how we can use different techniques to put this raging fire out. Hey, who started the fire? I did. Oh, okay. Great. Thanks for the ideas. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about how to build rules and habits that allow us to disagree deeply while still being able to live together. Is this guy serious? I mean, dude, somebody for Christmas buy this guy a mirror and tell him to look into it for a while. Are you kidding me? Democracy Forum. It's unbelievable. The nerve of these people acting like they're just got dropped on the planet. Barack Obama telling us that he wants to study on how we can all get. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, Obama with a Thanksgiving joke. Yeah, I wish. Unfortunately, yes, he is serious. Joe in Las Vegas, theory, Trump's playing the FBI. Perhaps even talking with Ray about staying. Better a broken FBI until January 20th than not at all. They're under the microscope. That's as good a thought as anything else that anyone else is going to bring up right now. Maybe not in a rush to give Ray the door yet. Maybe there's some backroom dealings going on. Maybe he said, "Hey, I'll let you exit in the way you want it." Who knows? Who knows? And listen, I hate to say this. Do we have to put a 1% chance on that Ray, after sitting down with the president in a private classified setting, going through, knocking out questions that Trump has for him, do we put a 0.00001 percentage point on the fact that he talks Trump into leaving him there? You cannot put it at 0. You can't. I hate to say that. Maybe you disagree. Mark the tape. What's today? The 27th at 11:34. I'll go on record. You can't put it at 0. I know, Penny. I would 99.999% of me agrees with you. But you can't convince me that he wanted to hire that labor secretary. You can't convince me that Matt Gaetz was his first choice for AG. We'll never know what's truly going on behind the scenes. We can only speculate. But I look at the labor secretary. I look at the Surgeon General nomination. I look at what happened with the AG situation. I think there's a lot of talking going on. I think there's a lot of dealing going on. And I cannot put a 0% chance on the reason that this is taking so long. One of the reasons, and again, it's like 0.000000001, that maybe he's met with Ray, and maybe in a classified setting, Ray has shown him. I have no idea why this one's taking so long and why we keep getting, first, there's too many leaks coming out of there, number one. But we keep hearing that Cash is a favorite, but then we hear maybe Cash is not a favorite. He's a favorite for maybe second in command. Maybe it's Andrew Bailey. Or maybe it's something that none of us are thinking of. Maybe he gives Ray a 6-month window to prove himself again. You can't, I mean, I guess you could put 0% chance on it. I can't. All right. Let's see. There's not really much going on today, honestly. Just wanted to come on here and just say hello, talk a little bit. Couple things I saw. I hope you'll watch the Thanksgiving specials on Thursday and Friday that we're going to air. Got some great interviews. Got some good interviews with the audience. Some of you from the chat. We had really nobody upload any videos they wanted to be a part of the show. We had 3 supposed uploads, but the videos never came through. I don't know if they didn't wait long enough for them to actually get uploaded or what. No, we had a terrible response. Terrible response. So I don't know. I guess people are camera shy or didn't, maybe they tried to record something and didn't like it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I get it. But yeah, we didn't get any response. Any good. We had 3 attempts that first day, but they were all blank. Nothing actually came through. No video came through. I saw 3 attempts, but there was actually no video. Let's just check in with the suits, see what they're talking about. Do do do. Boom, 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 boom. That's the one I want. Boy, I hope this jury in New York does the right thing upon hearing all this Daniel Penny. Part of me holds out hope that the New Yorkers who deal with this on an everyday basis are going to see what happened here. And I think the defense thinks that too. It's probably why he didn't take the stand. I think the defense gets a sense that people on that jury who have probably thought about, boy, I don't want to be in that situation. I hope they do the right thing. No, it wasn't Delgado's fault. We joke about it, but it was their stupid algorithm. Thought they had heard something that they didn't hear. And then, you can't get to a human being, so they ban you for 7 days or whatever it was. I went and listened to the part that they flagged, and it was literally me saying, like, welcome to the show. Whatever I was saying at the opening. It was literally nothing else. 1 minute, 6 seconds into the show. So that's the problem with all of this, is that you can't get a human being on the phone or on an email to actually go, yes, let's just live by this and everything will be okay. When in doubt, Harry, get off the couch. It's your fault. Nobody's talking about anything here. There's nothing going on. Tesla at 333.06. Boy, what a run that's been on. What a run that's been on. Snow. Okay, nothing for me down here. Keep it up north. The hell out of here with that. 8 inches. Up there in Vermont, Maine, little top part of Connecticut, northern New York. Boy, I used to be up there in that Syracuse area every Thanksgiving. Siberia. Let's send Nancy Pelosi there to check out the weather. Thomas, thank you. Same to you and yours. And of course, to everybody in the chat as well. This is not the last time you'll see me. I will see you tonight, 8 p.m. All right. There's nothing to watch here. Oh, let's watch this.
Warrior Partnership. Jim Lorraine will join us next.
Oh, let's not. Going to commercial. All right. Nothing really going on the main streamers. So, anyways, I was saying, I hope you'll watch the specials we put together for Thursday and Friday. You'll see some familiar faces. Obviously, you'll see maybe some new faces, some good interviews, a couple good opening and closes by yours truly. I think you'll like. It's got both shows have a nice spiritual feel. Let's leave it at that. So I hope whatever you're doing. Well, again, I'll see you tonight. This is not the last time you'll hear from me, but at least for here. Hope whatever you're doing tomorrow with family, if you're staying home or you're going someplace, travel safe. And hope you have a great day. Drag Blacker, is Paul Nolan showing up? Paul Nolan had an invitation to show up. Paul Nolan is sick. If I'm going to give you the inside scoop, I was trying to do a segment with Paul for one of these two shows for Thursday and Friday. And Paul is big time under the weather. Sounded really terrible. So we were not able to do that. But yes, we're going to be on Rav, Marcia. Both nights, regular time, 8 o'clock, Thursday and Friday. Yes, those of you asking, I don't know. I got to get an update from the wife on the turkey, how it's doing. I wish I knew about what Slick told me last night. That's really what I needed to know. It's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. Should I text Paul Nolan right now and see how he's feeling? Think we could get him to jump on the stream? Damon, what program or channel do you use to get the fireplace on your TVs behind you? Clint Leggett. Clint Leggett. That name sounds familiar to me. What do you mean? That's what do you mean? That's a real fireplace. What the hell are you talking about? Can't give away all my TV secrets here. Those are dual fireplaces behind me. I just had them lifted up onto the wall a little bit. It's hot in here. Woo! Smoking. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. You want to know the actual name of the channel? I'll show it to you if you want to know. There you go. It's called Autumn Cozy Fireplace. That's what it's called. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to text Paul Nolan. How are you feeling? I'm streaming and everyone is asking about you and driving me crazy. It's all your fault. Please make an appearance so they stop asking about your dumb ass. No, I didn't write all that. How are you feeling? I'm streaming and everyone is asking about you. Okay, let's send that. Free Paul Nolan. Free Paul Nolan. Free Paul Nolan. Free Paul Nolan. Oh, let's hold on. Let's be serious here for a second.
The team issuing this statement, quote, last night and this morning, several of President Trump's cabinet nominees and administration appointees were targeted in violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. These attacks range from bomb threats to swatting. In response, law enforcement and other authorities acted quickly to ensure the safety of those who were targeted. President Trump and the entire transition team are grateful for their swift action. We'll bring you any information on this as we get it. A record number of Americans expected to travel throughout
15
this
minutes ago,
Thanksgiving
so you're
holiday.
a little late there, Dagan. I love Dagan, but I love that girl, Dagan McDowell. Come on. That's a country girl right there. All right, no response from Mr. Nolan, so he's maybe under the weather still or busy. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I like that one. Jail Paul Nolan. Jail Paul Nolan. Free Paul Nolan. Free Paul Nolan. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum. That's a rough one. True, but that's a rough one. All right. I don't know. There's nothing else going on really. I'll check X one more time, see if anything else is going on. I mean, I just can't love Jay Bhattacharya enough.
I think an important question that we should ask at this point in the interview, Jay, is what have been the long-term health effects of the lockdown? Because I'm seeing an excess death rate. We've got an excess death rate in this country. Nobody's really talking about it because
it's long COVID, mate, all of it.
Yeah. Because it's an unpleasant truth that really nobody wants to talk about. So what have actually been the effects of these lockdowns?
I mean, it's heartbreaking, right? So, in Europe, there was a modeling study. It was a really interesting model study. That suggests that 100 million people had skipped cancer screening during the pandemic.
100 million.
100 million cancer screenings had been. I shouldn't say people. 100 million cancer screenings had been skipped, and that's going to lead to 1 million people with later stage cancer that should have been picked up. Then that they're going to, often will kill them that shouldn't have killed them. So women will die of breast cancer, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 that should have been picked up at stage 1 from normal screening that didn't happen. That's just one thing. The psychological effects in the U.S. Something like 1 in 4 young adults seriously considered suicide in June of 2020. the overhang for like anxiety and depression is enormous. I think that's maybe it's a little less true in Europe and the UK because you guys had Freedom Day earlier. But there are like measles cases now, outbreaks in the United States because people skipped.
Yeah, he was on it. He was on it. Huey says, Big D, we can watch a video on how to bleed a floor jack. Boring but interesting. So, Huey, what does that mean exactly? Can you explain that comment? Explain it to me. True statement. He would never get free if he didn't bring stuffing. I'm a tool guy. Okay? That's the explanation. Boom, 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 boom. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. I don't see much else going on. We'll be on tonight, 8 to 10. See if anything happens between now and then. See if we can do a little update on what this Caroline Leavitt press release was about. See if there's any more information about that. Slick Rick, Delgado, and myself will see you at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you live from Studio 6B tonight. Real America's Voice, 8 o'clock.